So about a year ago, a good friend of mine who's been riding the Piranha since we first released it almost 15 years ago, uh, wanted to order up another one just a little bit bigger. And I suggested, why don't we try to make a few changes and see if the board doesn't work better? And he said, okay. So what I did is I pulled the tail in, and instead of having three wings and a swallowtail, I pulled the tail into a full rounded pin. Next thing I did is I took the rocker from the Piranha, which was at 5'6", was about 4 and 3/4 inches, and I dropped the rocker from about 4 and 5/8 to about just under 3 and 5/8, so almost an inch less rocker in the nose. The tail rockers are virtually identical. The rest of the board, the profile is very similar. And so now you're looking at the Smoothie. The rails I pretty much kept the same. I did take a little bit of volume. You can see this is the center slice right here. I took a little bit of volume out of this part of the rail, just above the apex, and I lowered the apex a touch. This allows me to go a little bit thicker in the center and reduce the volume in the rail, so the board goes through the water cleaner. The rail enters the water with less effort, and the lower apex sort of resists a little bit sooner, and so you get a quicker responding rail, but a rail that still goes into the water. You can see the thickness here. The thickness flow is pretty even. The rocker's a little bit lower in the nose. So this is a view of the Piranha. I've already modified the tail, and then what I did for the bottom is I dropped the nose rocker almost a full inch, and the bottom on the Piranha had a slight nose V, a rounded nose V, and then the center of the board, you can see that there's just a very slight concave, and then as it goes into the fin area, you can see there's a slight V that gets progressively deeper as it comes off the tail. The Smoothie, you can see the reduced nose rocker, and you can see that up in the nose it's got a very similar rolled V. In the center it's got a deeper concave, and then as that goes back into the fin zone, you can see that there's a double V, a sunken double V developing about 20 inches up, and it gets progressively deeper, and then as you come in through and past the fins, the V starts to lift up above the spine and turns into a full-on convex V the last 3 inches. And my thoughts on this were just to modernize the bottom a little bit, make it a little bit more efficient, give it more lift, but more sensitivity from rail to rail. Here's a 3D. Here's a 3D view of the board. It shows the clean curves, the balance. You can see the little bit of extra area up front here. It's good for paddle, good for glide, helps carry the board out of turns. And the continuous curve through the midsection and all the way back into the tail. The only thing that's really different in that whole outline is the fact that the tail is been cleaned up a lot. The three wings have been removed and the swallowtail is gone. So it provides for nice, smooth, continuous turns, clean follow through, and the board has probably a wider range of surf it'll handle. The Smoothie, as we decided to call it, This turned out to be a very versatile board, kind of what one board does it all, and it's been our best-selling board this year, and we're excited because it's still very, very strong in the marketplace, and more people are just even the word of mouth are really liking the board.